Hello there, Toyota Beasley. This is Coach Stephanie with your monthly review for the month of March. Starting with your service calls. Last month we had a slight decrease. We went from a 3.99 to a 3.80. My biggest concern is that we have 13 calls left to be reviewed, so we need to be sure that everyone is reviewing their calls in a timely manner. We were really getting close to that 4.0 mark. The previous month we had a 3.99 and we had a 3.92 the month before that. So I know that if we would just review the calls and implement the tips and the tricks that we learn, we could get the service team over that 4.0 mark. So please have everyone to review their calls within 24 hours is usually a pretty good rule of thumb. Taking a look at your mystery shops, we ended with a 3.39, which was a decrease from the previous month. We had gotten to a 3.55. There again, we have 4 out of the 4 that need to be reviewed. And guys, we're not going to get any better if we're not reviewing your calls because we're not going to know what we need to improve upon. And we want to be sure that we are reviewing our calls and our shops in a timely manner, like I said, so that we can implement the tips and the tricks that we learn into our very next session with a customer. 3.36 in the inbound category, which is actually an increase. We went from a 3.06 in February to a 3.36, so way to go there. We do have 13 out of the calls that we did that need to be reviewed. So let's please have everyone to review their regular calls as well. Let's take a look at your certifications. Looks like we've got about half the team is certified and about half is not, so we want to be sure everyone's at 100% on their certifications as well. And that's just going to help so that they can learn tips and tricks not only from their actual coaching session, but in the videos as well. Taking a look at the call quality report, last month we had 17 calls in the excellent category, 16 above average, 10 average, 6 below average, 3 poor. 24 calls resulted in appointments and 15 calls were offline. Now, taking a look at how that stacks up compared to other dealerships within the company, we are still below the company average of 32.94 in offline calls, with a 28.85% of our calls being offline. However, I'd like to see 10% of our or less of our calls actually offline. 46.15% of our calls resulted in appointments, and that is well above the company average of 34.10. So way to go there. I would love to see us get to 50% or higher. My ultimate goal for the team is 75%. Only 5.77% of our calls were in the poor category. However, we would obviously like to see 0, so that is something to work towards, but that is well below the company average of 14.69. 11.54% in the below average category, well below the company average of 18.9. And 19% of our calls in the average category, in line with the company average of 19.16. 30.77% of our calls in the above average category, that is outstanding and well above the company average of 20.36. And 32.69% of our calls in the excellent category, there again, which is outstanding and is well above the company average of 26.88. So we are doing really well, but we have some room for improvement. I'm going to reach out to your team in the next coming week to see about scheduling some one-on-ones for this month and see if we can get the team back on track. But if you would please have everyone to review their calls, their shops, and their service calls as soon as possible so that we can get the team back on track. Thanks so much. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk with you soon.